Welcome everybody. In this lecture we are going to see how we can restrict some of the resources that can be allocated to our users. The need for that is that once your system, maybe your Linux server, it has got many users, maybe many administrators are working on the same device, then each administrator would definitely, once they all get logged in, each of them will consume some CPU cycles or maybe consume some memory as well, because the process that he or she will be running. And also there will be contention for the disk utilization or the disk space itself. So chances are that if we are not restricting users in certain ways to limit their consumption of resources, then probably they will not be able to manage the system efficiently. So there's a tool which is ulimit, which restricts the users either per user basis or on system wise basis. By virtue of that, we can restrict that how many CPU cycles or how many processes a user can spawn, what could be the memory utilization that a person or a user is allowed to use, and likewise how much disk or space can be used by a person. This ulimit, it is different from the quota that we use. This is a different tool which is applied on every user to restrict it from going beyond that particular threshold values. Now this ulimit tool, this can be used as a rudimentary security feature, because, and it's not a full-fledged feature, because you see this ulimit command is a bash built-in command, so it affects only bash and programs launched from it. And because ulimit is a bash built-in command, its utility as a system tool is limited in a way that if a user gets logged in using GUI login tools or using SSH maybe, and really depends that how we have configured SSH. If he gets logged in using these tools, then the restrictions imposed by ulimit, they become meaningless. Now there are two types of ulimit. Either we can limit the system resources for a specific user, or we can configure it system wise. So let me pull up the terminal now and let's see how we can make use of this ulimit utility. So let me just pull up the terminal and bring it maybe over here, and let's just type in the command ulimit -a to see what are the current parameters of this tool for me, which I am the user at the moment running in this bash shell. So I type in ulimit -a and we see that it says that the file size limitation, there are none. I can create files of unlimited size as far as system allows it to, the disk capacity allows it to. And also the memory, locked memory is 64, but the maximum memory size is unlimited, so I can consume whole of the memory. I can open around 1024 files, and also I can consume whole of the CPU. You see, there is no restriction to CPU time, and max user processes are more than 7000. It does mean that I can spawn many processes and exhaust the CPU. So let me show you one thing. Let me show you a command which will try to spawn as many user processes as possible and will bring the system down. So there's a warning for you that do not try this command on production system. You can use it for testing purposes, because definitely it will make your system hang up and you may need to reboot it. So the command is something like this, then middle bracket, and after that I type in :pipe then ampersand sign, and then I close the middle bracket with a semicolon, colon, and a full colon, and I press enter. Now as soon as I press enter, multiple user processes get started in the background and they start to take up the whole of the CPU time. Now if I try to type in another command which is stop, which is trying to show us the processes and the memory usage, you see that this command is not getting even executed because there is no CPU time being made available to this command, and most likely our system has hung up. I'm trying to press Ctrl C, but this signal is not being passed on, so probably our system has hung up. Let me just try to restart it, and then we'll see that how we can circumvent this process by putting on limitations on users with using some of these parameters. So let me just try to reboot the machine. Now I've restarted the machine, and we have got the prompt. Now let's type in ulimit -a one more time, and let's try to set the number of processes that a user can spawn. Let's set this limit to maybe 30 processes simultaneously. So I type in ulimit, and the flag that I need to use is -u, which is written here, and let's type in 30. Now once I do that, and we see one more time that now the processes that a user can spawn at any particular time is 30. Now let's try to use that command one more time, which was let me just type in again. So it's full colon, then I use brackets, and then start of bracket and middle bracket and full colon, pipe sign, then full colon, ampersand sign, and space, bracket close, semicolon, and full colon, and after that I press enter. So you see, as soon as I press enter, since it tried to spawn as many processes as possible, it has started to give us the warning that resource temporarily available. So now our system has not hung up, it is working absolutely fine, and as soon as it is trying to get the process, we see that it is giving error that this user is trying to go beyond the limits. So I press enter, and I just get out of this terminal so that those limits get reset, and also the process that I had started gets discontinued because it was started in bash. And let me see if I can execute the top command and show you the output. So we see that process, or maybe I can use the ps command. So system looks all good now. Now that was the example that where we had set the user based or user specific ulimit parameters. We can do it for system wide as well, and the way to do that is in the configuration file, which is at the path at etc, and afterwards security, and then limits .conf file. Now I need to give in my password, and this is the file that I am talking about, that it can set the same very parameters that we had seen earlier. Not only that, but some other parameters over here. For example, we had seen about the memory lock, we had seen about the file size, the CPU time. Now here is an option where they says that how many simultaneous sessions of one particular users can be opened at one time. So these are the maximum login. There is also option of max sys login for different users, for all the users. Like if I set it to maybe 3, then if we have got many system admins on one Linux system, then only 3 users can be logged in simultaneously. Similarly, we can set the priority of the processes that a users can run, or we can set this nice command that where it says that how a process can be niced, and we can also see some options specific to Debian, which is change root. Now if I bring it down, then there is an example which says that this is just an example which says that let's say for students, this is students, where it says add students, and the limit type is hard. Now there are 2 limits type that have been defined in this configuration file. One is soft and the other one is hard. The soft means that once that value is reached, for example in this case we have this NP process, and if I bring it up, then NP process is max number of processes. So a student group defined by this @ sign, student group can spawn 20 processes with a hard limit. But on the other hand, if a user belongs to faculty group, then he can spawn 20 processes simultaneously without any problem, though he will get the warning because of this soft limit, but he would be able to spawn 20 processes. But if he reaches up till 50, then he cannot go beyond 50. So we can restrict the users based either on the user. For example, over here, this is the root user. We are restricting this user as it is, or we can restrict users assigned to different groups. So it's a very good template that you can use for your own particular needs. Add requirements to restrict or bind or control the system resources to provide better experience for your system administrators. So that's all there is to it as far as limiting system resources are concerned. We have seen how we can use it on per specific basis, or how we can use this file to implement these changes on system-wide level. I hope you have learned from this video, and I would like to thank you for viewing.